Good morning. My name is Adam, also known as Adam Tilted, and this is Dealing with Different, a chat about how to deal with situations that you're not familiar with. I like to focus on how to interact with people with disabilities because there's a lot of confusion and awkwardness that can result if you haven't had that much experience. The original plan was to have Brigetti on here as a guest. Hi, Kat. Hi, Ashley. Good morning. Um, I have a little bad news. Brigetti is in the midst of an unprecedented storm. Oh, wait. Can you guys even hear me? I forgot to put... It's been quite a morning. How's this? I bet this is better. Can I get a thumbs up? Okay, I also need to share this out, so give me just a second. The original plan was to have Brigetti on to talk about um, invisible disabilities. Hold on. Why is this not working? Okay. Almost ready. Sorry, I'm still learning. And you guys are so patient and supportive. Who else has joined? Kim, welcome. So I've got Ashley, Kim, and Kat, and Erin is here. Amazing. Great. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. So as I was saying, Brigetti was going to join me this morning, but they are having an unprecedented storm in Cape Town, South Africa, which has affected her internet. And she doesn't have a reliable enough internet connection to join us on the live stream. So we are going to reschedule with Brigetti. I'm disappointed, so is she. She really wanted to be here this morning. But instead, I'm not going to leave you with nothing. I'm going to give you some we're going to have a little short episode today, and I'm just going to give you some tips. I don't want to say everything that Brigetti is going to say because we are going to get her back. And by the way, tonight there is another episode. We have a double header today. Tonight I will be talking with Mary Jackson. She's an award-winning author. She wrote a children's book about a child with a disability. We are going to be talking about children and disabilities. So tune in for that. That's going to be a really interesting discussion because she has worked in schools as an advocate. I have worked in schools as a teacher and an administrator, and I also have disabilities. So I'm interested in having that conversation. So do come back, tune in at 7 p.m. tonight. That's 7 p.m. Central Time with Mary. And we will reschedule Brigetti. I will create another event for that. And thank you for responding to the event too. That really helps me get an idea. And share those events out. Spread the word, because the message that I want to send in these broadcasts really need to be heard by as many people as possible. Before I let you go, I'm going to give you some tips about invisible disabilities. And feel free to ask questions as I go. I don't have as much of a delay since I'm just going directly Facebook Live to my page, so I should be able to interact with you pretty quickly. Most people, when they think of disabilities, they think of something you can see. Somebody in a wheelchair, somebody that maybe lost a limb, or even someone who's blind. You may be able to tell by looking at them. But there are many, many more disabilities that you can't see from the outside. And thank you, Kat, for sharing the video. I appreciate that. If anybody else wants to share this out to your timeline, that would really help with my exposure. So there are many more disabilities that you can't see from the outside. And it's important for us to recognize that, because it can be very difficult for people that have these invisible disabilities to, navigate the world without having to explain every single time. So my basic advice for all of this is, don't make assumptions. Don't ever make assumptions. Just because you see someone and they look healthy, if you were to look at me, I seem pretty healthy, right? Most people, even on my live broadcast, most people don't even know that I'm in a wheelchair right now. Can you see? No, you can't see. You can kind of see. Here's my arm thing. I'm in a wheelchair. So on social media, most people don't know that because you see me from here up. I might not even be wearing pants and you wouldn't know. So sometimes people wonder why I'm in a chair, because I don't look feeble. I'm not feeble. And I'm not paralyzed. I've had someone call me out for moving my foot while being in a wheelchair. Yeah, I can move my foot. I can move my legs. I can walk. But other things like diabetes, people with diabetes, or anxiety disorders. That's another one I share. I have social anxiety. I need to take frequent breaks from people. A lot of people think I'm an extrovert. And to an extent I am, I guess. But at the same time, I experience anxiety in social situations, and I need time to myself. So I'll, kind of leave the party for a little while just to let my brain calm down. And sometimes people think that I'm leaving the party, and that's rude. They don't understand that I'm working on using my tools to overcome this disability so I can continue to enjoy the event. The other problem is chronic canceling. I have to cancel on a lot of people a lot of times, and some friends have gone by the wayside because of that. And I understand, but it also kind of sucks from my perspective. I do want to be social and I do want to be around people, but sometimes my health just doesn't permit it. And sometimes my depression is making me think that I don't want it. So that's the other thing. If you know about someone's depression and anxiety, and they are isolating themselves, reach out. I know that when I go to the dark place, I call it, I'm not going to ask for help. I'm not going to reach out to you. Even if you are my closest friend, I'm not going to reach out because I feel like I have to protect myself. It's this overwhelming feeling of defense mode, and I just cannot be the one to initiate that if I need the support. Hi, Kim. Thanks for joining. So if you know someone who has depression or anxiety in particular, and you find that they are canceling on you, or they're not showing up at parties where they used to, or they're not hanging out with friends like they used to, don't push, but reach out a helpful hand. Be a shoulder to cry on. Offer to go to them. And don't judge. I do have a friend that I know I can call on, and she can come over here, and my house can be a complete disaster. And she's not going to judge. She's just going to sit, talk, listen, take my mind off of it. We'll laugh, and that helps. So don't give up on people. That's all I really wanted to say for now. There's a lot more I want to talk about regarding invisible disabilities, but I'm going to wait for Brigetti. But do any of you have any questions for me about invisible disabilities or disabilities at all? And while you're thinking of questions, I will let you know that if you enjoy this kind of programming, you can help support me in producing this show as well as my other show, What's Up with Adam Tilted. It's a weekly update on space and science. You can become a patron at Patreon. I'm gonna have to practice saying that. I will put the link in the comments, and anything you can do, even $1, pocket change, whatever, will help me produce this show. One, I need upgraded equipment. I need a new mic because this is the best that I got, and I can do better than that. And I also need some lights. I also want to get a subscription to remote telescopes so I can take some really awesome photographs of objects in the sky for my other show. So I'll put the link in there, Patreon. It's patreon.com/AdamTilted. That's in there, and pinning it to the top. Let me just make sure that link works. Yes, it does. Awesome. Great. Okay, so we have a question. Good morning, Melissa. Ashley wants to know, how far do you go to help someone understand what you are going through? I know I have to stop at some point because I get tired of explaining myself. My food allergies keep me from events or parties because I get nervous about what will be there or what people will think. Yes, I completely relate, Ashley. I am allergic to carrots and melons. The only other person I know of that is or was allergic to carrots was Mel Blanc, who was the voice of Bugs Bunny, which I find extremely ironic. But yeah, I have that same problem, and carrots are in everything. And it's not a very well-known allergy, so yeah, I worry about food too. And sometimes I will bring my own food to solve that problem, not just for myself, but to share, you know. The other thing is how far I go to help somebody else understand what I'm going through depends completely on the relationship I have with that person and where I think that relationship may go. Good morning, Carlos. For instance, I don't lead in with, I have anxiety disorder, depression, chronic migraines, and HIV. So if I'm acting weird, that's why. I don't lead with that. But if it does become an issue, like if it keeps interfering with our ability to continue developing our relationship, then of course I would let you know. The amount of detail I would go into would depend completely on the trust that we have. It's not easy for people to talk about their own disabilities. You have to be very vulnerable to talk about that, especially mental illnesses and HIV. I know there's a huge stigma around HIV. If I tell someone that I have HIV, a lot of people still react like I'm radioactive, which is unfortunate because we've learned so much. We know you're not going to get HIV with me unless we do certain things that I don't think we're going to do. And even then, you're probably not going to get it. But that's for another show. We'll talk more about that. But, you have to decide for yourself how much you want to discuss and reveal. And you also, if you are a friend of someone that you think is struggling, that's going to depend on your relationship, but I would suggest approaching it cautiously because it can be awkward. I don't even know how to describe what I'm feeling sometimes. My husband, who, bless his heart, he's the problem solver. He wants to fix everything. So I've had to teach him that sometimes I just need him to listen and not solve the problem. But it's hard for me to just even describe what I'm feeling. How are you feeling? I don't know. Like this second right now, I feel anxious. Now I'm kind of depressed. But now, oh, wait, now I feel anxious again. Wait, maybe I'm fine. Maybe I just have a headache. Is it a migraine coming or is it allergies? Oh, wait, it might be a migraine. Should I take my pills? If I take my pill, they're kind of expensive, so I don't want to waste a migraine pill on an allergy, you know? So that's the other thing that I think is a common misconception is most people that have a disability have more than one. It's not just anxiety. It's anxiety and depression and HIV and chronic migraines. So thanks, Kim, for joining. And so that's why I want to talk about these issues because I feel comfortable talking about them and I feel comfortable asking your questions. And other people I know don't have that same level of comfort. So you can feel free to ask me anything. I might not know the answer, but I will do my best to find out. And at the very least, I can be a listening ear. Melissa says, diabetes. Yes. Yes, I know. It's interesting. And the reactions that we get from people. Hi, Mike. It's good to see you. And yeah, it's awkward. Well, it's personal, for one thing. It is, it's just not something you want to talk about all the time. It doesn't define who I am. Now, if it's defining what's happening in the current situation, then it may be appropriate for me to bring it up. Especially, I'm Carlos and I'm a guy. It's okay, Carlos. You have a lot of people that suffer from that syndrome, and I can probably find you a support group if you're interested. I'm connected. Okay, so great. I really appreciate the interaction, and I apologize that this wasn't the planned episode, but that's the way live video goes, which is one of the reasons why I like it. Good morning, Jennifer. So keep an eye out for the rescheduling of dealing with different invisible disabilities, and don't forget tonight's show with Mary Jackson. That's at 7 p.m. Central Time. And, I like what Melissa just said. Well, I like what Carlos just said too, because he said I'm doing great. Melissa just said people judge. They want to tell you what you can or can't do or eat, or horror stories of other people. Exactly. That's why I don't like to bring it up. Because people want to find a connection. That's just the natural way we social beings are. If I tell somebody that I have HIV, they're going to tell me about somebody they know that has HIV. And I mean, it's not that I don't want to hear about it, but I don't want to hear about it. I mean, maybe in another conversation, but we were talking about me. And if I, told you this, then I kind of want the conversation to still be about me. But people do that without realizing it. That is a mechanism that we use in any situation when we're in a conversation and we don't know how to respond, or we worry that we're going to say something that's going to offend the other person. Then we change the conversation to be about something that we know about, that we are comfortable talking about. That happens in all conversations. I've done a lot of study on communication styles. I still do some coaching on public speaking, and that is a method for de-escalation, but it's often used as a way to avoid awkward conversations. So my mission with dealing with different is to give you different tools to avoid awkward conversations. I'm going to give you knowledge. I'm going to give you some social tips. We're going to uncover some misconceptions. We're going to take those myths and blow them out of the water. We're going to answer as many of your questions as we can. And hopefully together we will make it a better place for everyone. Not hopefully, we will. We will. I have confidence that we will. Oh yeah, okay, good. You found someone. And hi, Johnny and Garnet. This is great. Thank you very much for joining. We're at the end. So again, if you enjoy this kind of programming, don't forget to check out Patreon. There are some incentives there that you might be interested in. Right now, the Patreon is set up primarily for the Space and Science show, but that same account will also go to support this show. I just have not figured out how to get Patreon to show both of those at the same time. So if you want to help me be a patron, I would really appreciate it. And thank you. And if you have more questions, put them in the comments. I will get back to them. Share this video out to your timelines. I want to spread the word. Did you know that nearly 1 in 5 people in the US have a disability? And most of those disabilities developed in adulthood. So there is an increasing chance the longer you live that you're going to become disabled in some way and or come in contact with people who are disabled. So I want to give you the tools for that. So be a patron, help support this, patreon.com/AdamTilted, and I will see you tonight at 7 p.m. Central Time. Thanks. Have a great day.